What's going on, guys? I'm Jay the Black. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I want to talk about Michael Rapaport. Okay. Now, I reposted this on my Twitter the other day, and Michael Rapaport exposed Kevin Durant's DMs that he had with him. It looks like from December. And I talked about in my tweet how I felt like Michael Rapaport was going full Karen. Now, for those of you who may not be too familiar with Michael Rapaport, because he's very much irrelevant, the guy's an actor, comedian. He's a wannabe Negro male, okay? And he's always trying to latch on to the melanated community. So I found this to be very interesting, how all of a sudden he's afraid of KD. And he's making all of these, quote unquote threats to him and his wife. So he's exposing these DMs. Now, Kevin Durant has since apologized for this. I'm going to look at this article from Outkick, but I'm also going to look at the fact that, Michael Rapaport, he did not come out with a W in this whatsoever. He took an L. Not only did he take an L in this situation, but he took an L to Barstool Sports. He sued them, but he ended up losing that because the guy is a loser. I mean, and what I found funny was that Kevin Durant brought up in these messages, y'all can go and check the message out. The messages are crazy. But Katie mentioned how he always tried to get Trump's attention, right? He would say things to get Trump's attention and Trump would ignore him, which I found to be hilarious because that's what he does. That's what people like this do. These over political, irrelevant actor comedians, the only way they can get attention for themselves is to pretend like they actually care about anybody but themselves. All right. So let's get into this article from Outkick. It says Kevin Durant may be one of the most sensitive superstars in the sports history. Michael Rapaport may be one of the biggest goofballs in all of acting. Put them together and what do you get? Well, you get social media gold, that's what. I will say this though about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is sensitive. Just like a lot of these NBA players. I mean, right now you have Russell Westbrook's wife getting offended because Stephen A. Smith criticized him. I mean, that's what people on TV do. This is what these sports analysts, talking heads do on TV. They criticize athletes. And what social media has done, it has given these guys rabbit ears and thin skin to the point to where they cannot deal with anybody criticizing them. And Katie's one of those guys. This guy got caught having a burner account. Kevin Durant comes off as a troll. I do think that, Kevin Durant likes to troll people, especially when they come at him. He's not one of these guys that's just going to sit back and not delve deep into that rabbit hole. Kevin Durant has done that. He's willing to do that. Now, more from the article. All of it seemed to stem from Rapaport calling Durant sensitive in an interview with TNT's Inside the NBA crew. Durant sounded off and warning the language gets fairly raw. And this is the tweet. It says, I receive threats and disgusting messages daily, but never in my wildest dreams did I think that KD would be among them. The snake himself is now threatening me, bringing up my wife and wants to fight. This is supposed to be America's sweetheart, right? After this, and we strongly recommend reading the comments and replies to this fight of the famous, Durant downplayed it, seemed to apologize and indicate that this type of back and forth with Rapaport is nothing new. And this is him responding here. He says, me and Mike talk crazier than this on a regular, and today he's pissed. My bad, Mike. Damn. So again, I'm trying to figure out if KD is saying that, listen, man, me and Michael, we speak like this all the time. Why is Michael Karen Rapaport running to Twitter with this? With messages from December? What is he trying to prove? And this is a guy who panders to black people all the time. This is a guy who's, I believe, isn't he married to a melanated woman? This is the guy who tries to swagger jack the melanated man as much as he can. So it's funny how when KD is saying, listen, man, it really ain't that deep. You got this lame running to Twitter, getting clowned because he's putting these messages out here when we all know that Michael Rapaport is reckless. Michael Rapaport is one reckless idiot. He always gets on social media commenting on people, going at people, but you're getting offended by messages from KD from December when KD has said that this is how we speak to each other. This is why you have to be careful with people like Michael Rapaport. Okay, these non-melanated liberals, you have to be careful with these people. Malcolm X warned you about people like this, okay? Because again, I guess because, you know, Trump isn't around anymore, you know, these guys need some other target. They need something else to put their energy into. So Michael Rapaport wants to put his energy into quote unquote exposing KD, but he only exposed the fact that he himself is just weak and that he really is taking what KD is saying seriously. KD is a troll. That's an article. Durant is an outstanding basketball player, but sometimes struggles with haters that often come with being a noted athlete. Remember, this is the same man who once got caught using fake social media accounts to respond to his critics. Okay. Let's see. I guess he posted this on Instagram. So this is KD here. It says, I would never fight Mike. The Portnoy thing was too far. I see. My bad. I apologize. Well, you know, they're also trying to call out KD as being, you know, phobic against the alphabet community. Win this. But let me say this too on Michael Rapaport. I would never trust this guy. I would never want to be cool with this guy. I would never want to have private messages with this guy, because it's clear to me that if you are a pro athlete and you're having discussions with them, one thing that he has shown, that if he's upset with you, he's going to put these messages out just because he wants to be a Karen, just because he wants to cry about how you talk to him. This is a grown man who gets on video and trashes anybody else just to trend. That's what this guy does. And the fact that people are surprised that this goofy person would do this, I'm not. This guy is nothing more than a non-melanated liberal Karen that Malcolm X warned you about. These are the type of guys that will be like, hey, I'm with you, I'm cool with you, but next thing you know, he's putting out messages, and KD is like, well, geez, because you could tell KD didn't see this coming. Now, I will say this about KD. KD can come off as being a bit bipolar. You know, he comes off a bit bipolar sometimes. Like, he has different personalities. He has a personality that you may see, you know, unassuming, you know, not about drama. But next thing you know, this guy is creating accounts just to respond to people. So we know that these guys, these athletes have different sides to them. I spoke about Russell Westbrook and his wife coming to his defense against Stephen A. Smith. I mean, bro, tell your wife to calm down. You are a grown man. You're a pro athlete. You're making a lot of money. I don't think that Stephen A. Smith's criticism of you is bad. How many times has he been traded? You know, no, it's not about Russell Westbrook, but I'm talking about the thin-skinned nature of NBA players. He's been traded from Oklahoma City, from Houston. Now he's in Washington. Okay? At some point, you have to look and say, who's the problem here? And with Michael Rapaport, once again, this guy is goofy. He always has been. He always will be. And I think that if you are somebody that talks to this guy privately, even if you're joking back and forth with him, you need to be careful, man, because he may end up putting out messages from you just to get attention. Just to say, hey, this big bad black man wants to fight me. Oh my God, this dude comes off as a complete lame, man. And he only made it a joke of himself. This is why KD is apologizing. Not only because people are saying that, you know, he's coming off as phobic against the alphabet community, but he comes off as a clown, man. Why would you even put this out here? This looks like the banter of two dudes who've known each other for a long time. I have seen worse conversations like this. But again, I tell y'all, and I've told y'all before, I haven't spoken a lot on Michael Rapaport, but I have known, again, for quite some time, this guy is goofy, he's lame, and he's a complete overall clown. Now, let me finish the rest of this article. This isn't to excuse the general behavior of Rapaport. He criticized Durant giving him some heat, then whined when Durant responded angrily. You know what they say about the heat in the kitchen and all that. Anyway, it makes for good entertainment for the rest of us. It will be interesting to see if the NBA thinks so too. The league has fined and even suspended players, including the late Kobe Bryant, for using certain words during play. Wonder if the same rules apply off court. I mean, we will see, man. We will definitely see. But I think KD needs to be careful of who he's talking to, man, because you never know when these guys, like, you think these guys are cool, right? You think Michael Rapaport's cool with you. He's cool with you until he has an issue with you, and then he's putting out these old messages.